I believe there is no better feeling being a little part of somebody else's happiness and seeing the smile of your best friend reacting first time on new experience is absolutely priceless.
Ne-am făcut neapărat să cot for emotion de ticaja.
Now, what he just said in Bulgarian language was, this doesn't feel much different than your motion system. I have to say it's overstatement for sure, but it shows me what difference tactile feedback can make to our senses in the sim racing world. So, what we did is we attached the slip angle 4-corner kit and leave the entire rig on springs, which supposed to keep the vibration in the frame and not spread on the floor, and I have to admit the results are quite obvious for someone testing it for first time. First, the necessary disclaimer. This kit have been sent to me out of charge for test and review without any conditions except content, and my honest opinion cannot be counted as universal truth, so make sure to always do further research and read the comment sections to collect as much information as possible before take your decision. That being said, let's see what we have here. Let's talk about the experience, which for me is always the selling point of any product. As some of you already know, I use 4 degree of freedom motion from Cubic System, which also have FX effects, and I was personally more interested how an experienced user gonna feel with the extra feedback provided from kit like this. The first impression is always priceless, and the instant smile says a lot. Driving for years stationary rigs, something like this makes huge difference, and the statement from Milan about being close experience to my motion rig is for sure overstatement, but it really is enormous change. It creates the illusion of moving car, particularly driving over some aggressive curbs, and bring the experience to another level. As this is 4-corner kit, each transducer reacts to each tire, and it's absolutely crazy how well our brain can instantly understand where the feedback is coming from. Also, being isolated in VR, the effects are even more intuitive. I'm sure if you jump in the comment section, you will find people who don't want to drive without this feedback anymore, as the experience feels dead. And that exactly is the main difference. Butt shakers and butt kickers just bring life to that virtual world. As this is controlled through SimHub, the amount of effects are a lot, but we must be careful, as if we add too many, they will cancel each other and there is a danger to become total mess. What I personally prefer is very subtle engine vibration matching the engine rev, strong rumble strip matching the curb's texture, and shift kicks for each gear. Those are the effects which immerse me in the experience the most. There are other important effects on SimHub like ABS, traction loss and tire locks, for example, which supposed to bring useful information and actually help driving improvement, but in my opinion the FX reaction is a bit slow, like few tenths of a second, and I personally can't rely on that. Also, doing further research, it looks like that's the case with all the shakers and transducers, and I hope someone will explain why that's the case. Talking with many users and reading many posts, I found some people don't care at all about that small feedback delay, and some have problem with that, and my suggestion is to read the comment section. You will find there some useful information. Nevertheless, in my personal opinion, haptic feedback is a game changer for sim experience. It really brings smile. I personally believe that moving from nothing to tactile feedback is a bigger step than moving from tactile feedback to motion system. Somehow those vibration in the chassis from the engine, curbs and shift kicks create very believable experience. It is not just extra layer of information, but completely different world. Now, if I convinced you of that and you see butt shakers as potential upgrades, this is what we get with the slip angle 4-corner kit. 300-watt bass shaker amplifier system with integrated sound card, 6 individually controlled channels, 50 watt each, 4 tactile 50 watt transducers from 20 to 80 Hz range to give that exact texture of the different effects, all the cables, wires and banana plugs. And the big selling point of that system are the 4 springs isolators, which not only keep the neighbors happy in terms of noise, but actually keep the vibration in the frame. Also, I can assure you that the shake coming from each corner is very defined even at 50% gain. Of course, it's not silent, which will be a stupid statement as those vibrations are produced from sound, but it does good job to keep it in the rig. Also, 3 pair of springs, and the suggestion from the producer is to keep the weight below 250 kg for maximum efficiency. And keep in mind, those mounts of the isolators are made for 80/40 aluminum profile and above. The assembly experience for me looks more on the simple to medium side, but I'm working on my rig all the time and I let mostly Milen to figure out the procedure, and as he found it easy to assemble the isolator kit with the transducers, banana plugs and all the wires following the simple instructions, he struggled a bit to attach the kit to the aluminum profile because of the safety feature of the T-nuts. Honestly, it was really fun for me while giving mostly attention to the lunch we cooked to see my friend getting absolutely frustrated without the reason. I'm aware not everyone out there enjoy putting things together like me, so just be patient and follow the instructions. It can be few hours work, but will pay off with big smile at the end. Nothing in life comes for free, and sometimes the harder we work, most of the times the better we feel at the end. Now, after the hardware was set on, I had to make sure to set everything as good as possible before the first test for Milen. I've done my homework before watching the 3 super informative videos from Sleepangle channel, which I will share in the description below, and if you go for this kit, definitely check those out.
In the sim, you want a good thunk, but it's in the strong range of the transducer, so it doesn't need to be set as high.
They are short but super informative, and I have to admit the guy understands well the topic, and everything he have made here with the spring kit is for a reason and feels and works just as explained. Less is more indeed, and I highly suggest to start with his settings for beginning and later test more. For me subjectively those settings work the best and I can feel the chassis alive. Of course for me it wasn't something new, but for Milen was experience on completely different dimension. So that being said, here is my final opinion about the entire experience from the 4-corner Sleepangle kit. The spring isolators for beginning are not made to keep the transducers silent for your family and neighbors, but strictly keep the vibration within the rig and give that directional feedback. That means if you cross the curb, you must feel individually each part of the car hitting separately the anomaly. As I am running Cubic System Motion platform daily, which is for sure one of the best on the market, I know exactly how that's supposed to feel, and this here definitely do great job. My brain can separate clearly from which corner the feedback is coming. I guess the spring kit is not gimmick at all. Another benefit is keeping the vibration within the aluminum profile allow me to use the transducers at 50% gain and never overheat them. Actually those are used now for several months, and at that strength just gets slightly warm with few hours use on daily basis. Now, one negative part of the experience I found for me in comparison to the Cubic system is slight delay of the feedback, which Milen for example doesn't feel, and reading all the comments from other reviews, I'm the only one complaining about that. I can't say that takes me completely from the immersion, but it's definitely there for me. Another negative part is the limitation of use, and it can be set only on 80/40 and above aluminum profiles. Also, it is made to keep all the vibrations within the rig, but that doesn't mean it's silent. It is called bass shaker, so let's be honest with that. About the assembly process, for me it's absolutely okay, and I think if you manage to put your rig together, this won't be any harder. And remember to choose wisely the effects. Less is more. Little engine effects to feel the car alive, rumble strips to feel the curves, and shift kicks for me is absolutely enough to feel fully immersed, particularly in VR. I also made some research and found many positive comments from customers about the company support, which is a good sign. So, if you think it's time to make your next step and dive in the haptic world, I can definitely rate this as very good for what it is. Also, if that will be your final choice, make sure to watch the Slip Angle 3 short videos to understand how frequency works and which range is best for different effects. Those were absolutely enough for me to be able to set the kit in a few minutes and blow my friend's mind. And of course, don't be afraid to experiment after gaining some knowledge and experience.